The scenery is nice, but it's far too touristy. I wouldn't recommend it to my worst enemy. There were tour buses and camper vans just everywhere. That place is overrun with tourists. These are just some of the answers we got when researching about travelling in Kerry. Well, here at Something to Remember, we prefer to see with our eyes rather than just listen with our ears. And in this video, we are going to find out for ourselves, is Kerry really just a tourist trap?
We are Mark and Asa, and we are in the middle of creating a wee series about Ireland's wild Atlantic way. Make sure to have a look at our previous videos about Donegal, Mayo and Sligo. Kerry is next, so let's see how the kingdom compares to those three stunning counties.
We are starting our Kerry adventure here in the town of Tralee. Tralee itself is probably most well known for being the location of the Rose of Tralee festival that takes place here every summer. The Rose of Tralee is a celebration of Irish culture and heritage that involves young women competing against each other each year to decide who will be crowned the Rose of Tralee. Right in the centre of town there is a beautiful rose garden with a statue and monuments containing the names of every young woman who has ever competed in the competition since its conception in 1959.
As for the town itself, we loved the quirky streets and really enjoyed having a walk around. In the evening, as per tradition, we headed out to see what the bars were like in Tralee. We met some friendly locals in a bar called Paddy Mac's, and they steered us in the direction of Sean Oakes and Betty's bar for some live music.
Johnny, lovely Johnny, won't you need me?
We've been in Kerry just a couple of hours, and I don't know if I could like it, but people are so much kinder here than anywhere I've been in Ireland. I don't know, maybe because we had more interactions with people. People like, oh, go here, oh, do this, oh, please go sit down, there is a seat like left there, and oh, where are you from? Donegal, okay, let's sing a Donegal song. It's just really nice. Maybe they got used to a lot of visitors and they try to be nice. I don't know, it's just really nice.
Tralee had really left a great first impression on us, and we couldn't wait to see what day 2 had in store.
I was ordering breakfast there and the woman tried to talk to me and I didn't have a clue what she was saying.
When travelling in the southwest of Ireland, you may have some difficulty understanding some of the accents down there.
45 sheep missing, like, in the lambs and everything, the sheep just count out a nice bit of money, like.
Unfortunately, there is nothing we can do about that except just smile and nod, but we do have something that will help when you actually do go to a non-English speaking country, and that is where today's sponsors come in handy, Babbel. Babbel is one of the biggest language learning apps in the world, with tailor-made lessons about business, travel, relationships and so much more. It is also so important that all of their lessons have been created by real-life language teachers. Since our recent trip through Latin America, where we had learned some basic Spanish using our Babbel app, pretty much just to get through some sticky situations, we have now turned our focus towards further developing our Spanish skills with the ultimate goal of becoming fluent. Yo trabajo en mi casa. Yo trabajo como amo de casa. Originally, within just 3 weeks of learning Spanish through Babbel, we were comfortable enough to use our Spanish in real-life situations in the likes of Mexico, Colombia, Argentina and Chile. We were engaging in basic conversations, ordering food and asking for directions, and that was just from using our Babbel app for a few minutes each day before we went on our trip. Use our link below to get a huge 60% off your subscription. You will also receive 2 free live classes with your subscription, and there is also a 20-day money-back guaranteed if for some reason you aren't satisfied. Choose the lifetime subscription and set yourself well on your way to learning your new language. Adios. Right then, time to get into the nitty-gritty of what we were actually in Kerry for, and that was, of course, some sightseeing. The Dingle Peninsula is one of the most talked about places in Ireland, and the only town on the Dingle Peninsula is called Dingle. Why does Dingle sound so funny when you say it a few times? Anyway, a scenic drive through Connors Pass from Tralee takes you to, you guessed it, Dingle. If you were to look at a map, you might think that this looks like one of the most remote places in Ireland, and it probably is, but it's actually one of the most touristy and buzzing places in the whole country.
It kind of made us realize that we would be seeing a lot of other tourists on our scenic drive around the Dingle Peninsula. And that is exactly how it turned out.
For us, one of the main reasons we loved making the Donegal, Sligo and Mayo videos was because we felt like we were having a really authentic experience, and those are the kind of things we love sharing with our community on this channel. As we made our way from Dingle around Slea Head Drive, it became obvious that we would be sharing the experience and the roads with countless tour buses and camper vans. We're not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's generally not our cup of tea.
Slea Head Drive is quite nice, and we enjoyed the hike in windy conditions to what is the most westerly point on mainland Ireland at Dunmore Head. Other stops of note along this famous coastal road include the gorgeous white sand beach of Clogher Strand, the iconic steps at Dunquin Pier, and the stunning viewpoint from Clogher Head. This was our favorite place in the Dingle Peninsula, as we found a nice spot to ourselves to take in the spectacular landscapes and beaches in the distance.
We made one more stop at Inch Beach on the way to our accommodation for the night, which was situated in an extremely remote area of the Evira Peninsula. To get there, we drove through Ireland's highest mountain range, the McGillicuddy Reeks, and took in views of Ireland's highest mountain, Carrauntoohil. As we were driving past, we genuinely considered changing all of our plans to climb Carrauntoohil, but it just didn't suit our timeline. It is definitely on the bucket list for our next trip to Kerry though. As we said, our accommodation of Drummage Hostel was in a very remote setting, and we couldn't believe our luck when we realised we were staying right beside what is one of the most remote pubs we have ever come across.
We love this place. We had a private room and made use of the spacious kitchen for dinner and the following morning's breakfast.
The reason we were staying on the Evira Peninsula is, of course, because we wanted to explore the Ring of Kerry, which is a coastal road that runs along the outer ring of the peninsula. This is easily one of the most well-known tourist routes in Ireland and extremely popular with visitors. Now, if we're being honest, we were feeling a wee bit disappointed with the Dingle Peninsula, and we know that's going to be a bit controversial, but at the same time we do feel as if we're entitled to our opinion because we've seen quite a lot of the Wild Atlantic Way in recent months, and we just felt that numerous other places could offer the same views but without the hustle bustle.
However, today's events would completely change our perspective, and the first place that really lifted our feelings towards Kerry was Valentia Island. After crossing the bridge at the scenic little town of Portmagee, we parked up and set off walking towards Bray Head. The views are instantly breathtaking from the start of this walk, and we had a sneaky feeling that this was going to be the start of an amazing day. The 1 mile walk takes you to a lookout point where you will easily be able to spot the Skellig Islands not too far in the distance.
These islands are famous for their thriving gannet and puffin population, an early Christian monastery that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and they have also been the setting for some Star Wars movies. You can take boat tours from Portmagee that will allow you to set foot on the islands, but we found it to be a wee bit steep at about 120 to 140 euro per person. You can also go on a boat tour that will circle the islands, and that'll cost you about 50 euro each. But for us this time it was just a bit expensive, and it was off season to see the puffins anyway, but it's definitely on our bucket list for next time. When you reach the lookout point at Bray Head, we would recommend walking a little bit further out to where the rugged landscape meets the roaring ocean.
We were out there all alone, surrounded by these jaw-dropping views. This was what we had been missing yesterday. We absolutely loved the authenticity of Valentia Island and couldn't recommend Bray Head highly enough.
From Bray Head you can see the mainland's enormous Kerry Cliffs in the distance, and that is where we were headed next. You won't have any trouble finding these cliffs as they are explicitly signposted. We're on our way up to a viewpoint of what's been signposted every 5 seconds of the most spectacular cliffs in Kerry, so to be fair they look really, really tall from a distance, so hopefully they're as spectacular when we get there. Definitely the most spectacular cliffs in Kerry. Fair enough, fair enough.
The entrance fee to the viewpoint of the cliffs costs just €5 per person and is an unskippable experience in Kerry. It is most certainly places like this that gave Ireland's Wild Atlantic Way the reputation of being one of the most spectacular coastlines in the world.
There is also the option of camping on the premises of the Kerry Cliffs. We reckon waking up to the sight of the cliffs first thing in the morning would be well worth the fee. That wasn't on the card for us though, as we had other fish to fry for the rest of the day. The coastal drive to our next destination was something else, and any notion that Kerry was simply a tourist trap had disintegrated in our minds long ago. We were blown away by the scenery around here and decided to go for a sea swim at the beautifully remote Derrynane Beach.
Been roasting the whole day, so we want to go for a swim now on this beautiful beach to cool off. However, it is the Atlantic Ocean, so it's probably going to be absolutely freezing anyway.
It's a cold shock up to your knees, but then once you just get in, it's fine. Like.
Hard to believe, but your body adjusts so much so you feel like it's warm. When you're in Ireland, don't think, oh my god, it's gonna be cold. No, just go for it.
Who says it always rains in Ireland? It's a myth. Right, time to head inland through the infamous Moll's Gap towards Killarney National Park.
Now we are passing through Killarney National Park, and I think it's going to be very hard to do the justice to this place with videos and pictures, but I hope you will like it because it's absolutely spectacular here. The way the lights hitting the mountains, the lakes, and we are on the way to Killarney now where we are staying, so it's such a perfect end of this day.
Gorgeous lakes surrounded by rolling hills cut through by a winding road that gives you sensational views around every corner. Killarney! Yes, we made it. As you can see, we squeezed in a lot in our day around the Ring of Kerry, and as you will know by now if you followed us long enough, we were feeling a wee bit thirsty after all that sightseeing.
So we made it to Killarney, and so far we both agreed it looks better than Galway, and I mean this is one of the best compliments a city in Ireland can get. We felt such positive energy from our walk through the streets and really like the vibe that the many tourists give to this gem of a town.
I've been here about 10 minutes and I feel like I'm falling in love with Killarney already. What a spot.
A lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants, people sitting outside. Imagine in Ireland people sitting outside, the weather is unreal. Like a lot of different songs, Irish songs, American songs in Irish style.
Whatever about the cliffs, we certainly don't have anywhere like Killarney and Donegal. If you like a pint, perch yourself in Courtney's or John M. Reedy's bar for the night. Proper folks.
She was both very handsome. Her neck was just like this.
In the morning, before we headed back to Donegal, we managed to squeeze in a visit to Ross Castle just outside of Killarney. This castle is a typical example of a stronghold of an Irish chieftain during the Middle Ages. It sits on the banks of Lough Lean in Killarney's National Park and is certainly worth a visit.
It's a 15th century castle built by the chieftain O'Donoghue Moore. But listen to this. Legend has it that O'Donoghue still slumbers under the waters of the lake. Every 7 years, on the first morning of May, he rises on his magnificent white horse. If you manage to catch a glimpse of him, you will enjoy good fortune for the rest of your life. No fear. Proper castle stuff.
So that was our Kerry adventures, and the question we asked at the beginning is
Kerry really just a tourist trap? To be honest, the answer is no, and I am actually more than happy to let Kerry represent our country for the majority of tourists that come here. I would, however, recommend to anybody watching this that hasn't come to Ireland just to check out other places like Donegal, Sligo and Mayo, especially if you're looking for some wild Atlantic Way adventures. But in all fairness, I can't have too many complaints about people going to Kerry either. In fact, I'm actually talking my own family into taking a trip down to Kerry shortly, so that should tell you all you need to know.
So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as we're going to be producing more videos about Ireland. And if you go to Kerry, we know you're going to have something to remember, just like us.